And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review, and today I am reviewing iCarly. No, not the show, the two shows. I'm still pissed about it being canceled. It's going to be a while now down the road before you hear my opinion on it being canceled, but ooh, not happy about it. But this is not even based off of the Paramount Plus show reboot. It's the original on Nickelodeon. And this is the first one. If you saw my review of iCarly 2, I joined the clique. This is the first of those games. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory that a second game was made by calling it iCarly 2. But every time that I would look for a review or just any sighting of the first one, this one, every time I would get people that had just iCarly in the title, but then they would be talking about iCarly 2, not iCarly. So, just had a hard time finding this game. But I was finally able to play it on the Wii. Thank you to LikunMiffery, by the way, for letting me borrow this game and giving me the chance to play it. So, very, very good stuff there. Thank you. Thank you. This was an interesting experience for sure. So I got a lot of thoughts. Let's jump right into it, shall we? After a drink. It's just water, I promise. Anyway, it's one thing that I really liked about this game. It's one of the very few things I liked about this game. The music. I think it's really, really cool. It's a cool take on a little bit more upbeat, a little more done version of the iCarly theme song. It's done really, really well in my opinion. I like that. It's pretty nostalgic for me too, because I grew up watching the show. So that might be kind of why I like it a little bit, but I still think it sounds pretty good, even to my older ears. There was some insane show foreshadowing here. With the yeah, we all know what I might be talking about there. But yeah. We don't need to get into that. Fuck you. Anyway, I said this in the second game too, and it's obvious they didn't learn anything from this game, because the characters don't look anything, I mean nothing like their actual in-show characters. I do like that they're voiced. They bring the actual voice actors in and they play the same character with the voice. Their voices, I think that is a really good thing. But if you can make the characters look anything close to what they look like on the show, it'd be so good. But you just couldn't do that, could ya? You just couldn't do that. Well, I guess what do I expect? It's a licensed children's game, so. Now, this game does have just like a mini games section, but I chose to try out the story. And to me, it didn't really feel like much of a story. There is like an overarching storyline in like the cutscenes and stuff like that in between. Otherwise, you're just playing some random mini games, and they don't even feel like anything that was ever like on the show. Like sometimes you're chopping stuff as Sam, or like with Sam, and you're chopping up a ham, or you've got to spray every character in the game in the room but Spencer, like a little bit of like whack-a-mole sort of style thing, or you're swatting thing, or like you're catching things in a net as they fall out of the cabinet, or you're swatting hands away from a pie, or you're like trying to balance plates on Spencer's head or other characters' heads. It doesn't seem that I never seen a episode of iCarly where anything like that happened. Like, obviously you really aren't going to go the Dan Schneider route here, thank God, but you couldn't have picked anything else. I mean, there was I guess I don't know what they would have done, but you couldn't have just like, I guess I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. The only one that felt like super relevant to the show was when they scare Lubert. And that's not even really... Can you even count that as a challenge? All you're doing is pressing A and you don't even have to time it correctly. Like, what the hell? It doesn't make any sense. They also really never did anything, like, outside the studio very often. And, like, they did a bunch. There was only barely anything that took place in the studio. Like, the studio wasn't even really a thing. It was just kind of like a backdrop for the main menu and like some cutscenes, which was crazy because you could like decorate it, and I think that's really, really cool. But it may be a little bit more incorporation, though. It's cool that you can decorate it. That's pretty cool. I do like that. So, but anyways, it doesn't. The overall story is like Neville trying to hack the show and everything, but like, it's just kind of you play some mini games and you unlock a cutscene. Okay, it doesn't really feel like much of a story. It could have said campaign. I think that would have made a little bit more sense here. I think the game functions pretty well for a licensed like Wii game. It's extremely easy. I already talked about some of the things. Like, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be perfect every time, but the game's pretty forgiving, and it will give you something that you probably shouldn't get. It will, but you know, if you try, you're gonna do good. But like I said, just don't try and fail, and you'll be fine. Like, you have to actively go out of your way to do bad in this game. Something I don't think I've ever said for a different game. The emails that you can read, as well as you unlock some cool stuff for like videos to watch, like behind the scenes footage. I think it's really cool for the fans, especially the videos. The emails are pretty cool too, I guess, but the videos were my favorite part because I like watching the videos of characters behind the scenes. That's always really cool. So I'm glad they put that in. That was cool. But man, and like I said earlier, other than the locations, there really isn't much resemblance to the show. You know, there's a lot of Neville stuff, but we really don't get like Gibby. There's no Gibby in the show. I guess the Bluebird thing's kind of there. There's a few like more subtle touches, but mostly it's really not. But what do you expect out of developers who had probably never watched the show before, and I don't blame them. So it's hard to be bad. It's hard to be worse than iCarly 2, but the original definitely lived up to that hype, as it probably should. It's just not good. It's super easy, boring as hell. Unless you're a fan. If you're a fan of the show, like I am, I got a little bit more of a kick out of it because of the extra stuff that you get to see, like fan stuff for the show. You understand the story part, and you can get some of the more subtle references, which is cool. But even then, as a fan, like I would play through this once, maybe, and like never pick it up again. Like, why would you need to at that point, really? So it kind of sucks. It had a lot more potential because there's definitely a lot of good things about this game that they could have worked with and to carry out further, and they just didn't. That kind of sucks. But anyway, that's really it, though, for this review. My final score for iCarly for the Wii, probably going to have to give it a good 5 out of 10. 6. We'll give it 6. Because I think the references are cool. The game functions pretty good. Music is good. That's really about it. Really all the good things I can say about it. But, oh well. There you go. So, that's going to do it for this game review, though. If you ever played iCarly, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. How is it to somebody who has never seen the show before? I'd love to know your thoughts about it as well in the comment section down below. And as always, that's going to do it for this game review. So stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. Until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.